Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctor's Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett.
So, a very good morning to everyone in For the Record land. And can I say that right from the get-go that Dr. McField and I were really, really heartened because we received so many positive messages. Folks were talking about the content. They were also talking about the way in which we try to bring the audience in with the discussions. And of course, people were really happy to hear about some of the positive changes that's going on with UCCI. So I thought that right from the very beginning, I'd like to thank the entire audience, whether you're in Cayman or from afar, as the ad says. And we appreciate you, and we don't take this for granted. So it's truly our privilege to be on this platform this morning with OC and the staff that obviously went to such great pains to make this program over the years. And as listeners, we respect that while the radio audience is not monolithic and it's diverse, this audience values local and international news, relatable presenters that speak their truth, and have discussions around developing a strong and positive community connection. As I was sharing this introduction, I wanted to also speak to the level of sophistication that this audience now have, because I can remember when I used to be on the show decades ago, because this has always been a platform that, OC has always invited us on. But you can see a shift and a change in the questions that people are asking. You can see a shift in the change of the concerns that people have, and also a sort of a boldness that Caymanians are beginning to develop. This is one of the things that I was taken away when I was driving on my way to work, and I reflected on some of the messages that I received and so on. And whilst we're still a little shy with, sharing concerns with certain people, and we have an issue of trust, I do believe that this is really positive, Dr. McField, in that there is a shift and there's a dynamic that's going on in this community.
Thank you, Ms. T.
The SMT team.
And good morning to all the listeners in For the Record land, and those who listen to For the Record Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and those in the Cayman diaspora, and those other people who listens to us some other places, because I got a call a couple of days ago from someone in Jamaica who listens to the program in the morning and was engaging me into the nuances between the Jamaican politics and the Caymanian political systems. And I told him that I was not too interested in the what's happening in Jamaica now with their election, because our elections are quite different from their style of politics is quite different from ours.
And Jamaica is obviously independent.
Yes,
as well.
independent country. And I was quite happy with what happened last weekend on Friday, although I didn't get there to I was not present, physically present there with the government coming out and meeting people of the first 100 days in their office. And it goes to show that they are going to upset the old order. And if they are going to accept the old order, so be it. The old order has not brought us a lot of benefits in any meaningful way, and it is the benefits. It is what benefit us most. It must be our priority. And the fact is that I'm happy that they have promised that they are not going to betray the next generation. Caymanians.
That is one of the key takeaways that I had as well. I tried to attend the meeting that the Deputy Premier had in South Zone one evening last week, and I was unable to make that meeting. But when I listened to the comments that people had, there seemed, in fact, one of the first things as I entered the South Zone hall, folks said, at least the Deputy Governor seems honest and seems sincere. I obviously don't know him really well, but I know that whenever I communicate with him, he's responsive. And I have to say that that's been my experience with all of them that I've been communicating with thus far. So that's part, I guess the question that I often ask, and maybe it's because I'm a little jaundiced, is whether or not those people who are in control of the economy will allow them to do what is right by the Caymanian people. And what will we think about that represents a happy medium between development and the needs of the Caymanian people?
Yes, and one of the things that I got out of the meeting between the government and their people is that the government now needs that seems to be giving us the tools to stabilize our lives, and they're bent on building a strong rebuilding a strong Caymanian culture. And I never thought I would see that in my lifetime.
Well,
So,
in my seat in my office, I see folks that are reaching out to me and asking questions that they would never, ever, ever ask about ensuring that we find Caymanian employment. So there's something that's triggering a response, and so far, so good. What I'll do at this moment is to call out the birthday greetings, because I know that time is an issue. So the birthday shout out is actually brought to us by Coca-Cola. Proud to support your birthday shout out. And Coca-Cola is across and available the entire Cayman Islands. Accept no substitutes. So share a Coca-Cola with someone special. And as I said, we won't say share a Coke with someone special. And so far, those persons who are having birthdays today and tomorrow include Gwenda Rich, Shilpa Gampawar, Colin Harper, Gary Smith, and Konata Ayin. Now, I hope I didn't butcher anybody's name, but I'd like to extend this birthday greeting to all folks at this time.
So the number to call this morning is open line. It's we don't have, as you have heard my colleague say, we don't have a guest. So the number to call is 1-800-534-8255. Compliments of Flow, or 949-3037. Or you can call 949-6990. Or you can WhatsApp us at 925-3261.
So Susan is saying that we have a call. Shall we go to that call?
Yes, we're going to take the call.
Yeah,
First call.
And today's open mic.
Yes.
Good morning, Dr. McField, and good morning, Dr. Pitcairn.
You never fail us.
Never
fail us, Lord Graham.
I want to chime in real quick before before I forget about it. What Dr. Pitcairn said a while ago about the powerhouses, the financial powerhouses, not allowing the elected body to do what they want to do for the best interest of the Cayman people. I want to remind the elected members, in case they haven't recognized this, that the powerhouses no longer have this large voting bloc. They have all replaced that with $6 an hour people. So they don't really have a large voting bloc to command the changes of the government. So the only how they can do that is if they come with their spare parts and try to influence our elected members. That's the only how they can do that. So if our people are strong and do not accept those spare parts, then they can do what they have to do. And a lot of them being new in there, that is not involved yet in that paper bag type attitude thing, I think they will do well. And once they have the people with them, then the financial people can't control them, because they will continuously be elected year after election. It's the people, us, the indigenous people, that can decide what they do from what they don't do. So we need to start establishing that this is the Cayman Islands, like back in the day. And if you want to come, these are the rules. These are the rules. You come, these are the rules. If you don't want to abide by those rules, then you don't come. I was hoping that you would have two very high-level guests this morning, but I just heard that you don't have no guests, because I had a few things to ask. But now that they're not there, I'm going to still ask. This is what I want to ask, and I think Dr. McField might have the charm in, but both of you are legally inclined. So the deputy governor position supposed to be only held by a Caymanian. I think that's the situation. But what is a Caymanian? A Caymanian, by immigration, can be as generational, which is by rights, and by grant, cabinet, or the process, right? But those that get it by cabinet or the process can be revoked. But mine can be revoked. So who is really then Caymanian? So if the position by the deputy governor can only be held by a Caymanian, then that would be very ironic if a cabinet, a person with that granted by cabinet or process was to become the deputy governor, and something, God forbid, that the status or revoked during the tender, that would not be nice, right? That is that. And then I want to ask this question. The BRICS are now trying to dethrone the U.S. dollar as the trading currency, the global trading currency. Suppose BRICS take over and dethrone the U.S. the U.S. dollar. Our dollar is attached to the U.S. dollar, and I think that was very smart of our older people to do that, because the U.S. dollar is the global trading currency, even though our British pound is a stronger currency. So I think that was smart to do that. But now if BRICS was to overthrow them, would that affect our currency, our dollar? And that is my two things this morning.
So those are mouthfuls.
Those are some $1 million questions. I never thought that I would hear that the last question that Lord Graham asked. What would happen if the dollar falls and the BRICS system becomes the leading financial system in the world? I don't know what would happen, because our dollar is pegged to the U.S. dollar, and as Lord Graham has said, that was a wise thing that we did when we break away from the Jamaican dollar and the British pound, and we and we pegged our dollar to the US dollar, what would happen? Because the question that seems to me that would it's in the forefront, that what would Cayman, how would we sustain Cayman's dollar at 125 cents of the US dollar? Because do we have gold reserves or any other reserves or any other reserves that we could support our currency on? I don't know if the government has any gold reserves anywhere in the world stored or whatever. I think it would be great if we could get some of the great financial minds in Cayman here on the show sometime and to think about that, because that is a possibility that the dollar might flop soon. Not soon, but eventually, if it does, do we have any reserves other than that? And we are pegged to the U.S. dollar. The first question.
I was gonna say too that doing that actually pegs our financial status to the vagaries of the world, and
That's
you can see now what is happening in the United States with Trump and so on. And there's competition from other communities like Venezuela and other persons who are willing now to define their own currency and the value of their currency. And you see over a period of time, communities like Jamaica and the devaluation of their dollar, people are now taking a different look at that to see whether or not it makes sense to continue to have the U.S. dollar as the primary source. But it's a really, really good question.
It's a really good question.
Something that we ought to consider,
And so we are going to take the break now. And then when we come back, we are going to continue our discussions.
Thank you so much.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series. Brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Spurgeon Andrew Ebanks, OBE, JP, 1914 through 1994. Spurgeon Ebanks served as headmaster in the government schools in North Side, Spot Bay in Cayman Brac, and West Bay from 1935 to 1946. He went to sea for a period of 6 years, returning home to manage his business in West Bay. He served as the sub-collector of taxes and customs for West Bay. He was a member of the Legislative Assembly, serving his district for 3 terms, in 1957 through 1959, 1963 through 1965, and in 1966 through 1968. He was the first Deputy President of the LA and chaired the Cayman Islands branch of the Parliamentary Association. He served on various boards, committees, and tribunals. He was appointed Justice of the Peace in 1961 and received his OBE in 1978. He was a member, elder, and treasurer of the West Bay, now John Gray Memorial Presbyterian Church. Mr. Ebanks was married twice, to Ina Nee Ebanks for 48 years and to Iola Nee Bodden for the last 8 years of his life. He had 4 daughters. He was a kind and considerate man, always willing to help those less fortunate than himself.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
When a hurricane hits, unexpected costs can add up fast. Homeowners are usually out of pocket for these costs to get supplies or make minor repairs. But with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks after a Category 3 or stronger storm, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco Homeowners Insurance. Call 949-8101 or visit cineco.ky for a quote. That's cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
It's a sizzling summer with JN Money. You can win a luxury weekend getaway for two when you send or receive money from now until September 30, 2025. That's right. We're turning up the heat this summer with JN Money. Visit www.jnmoneyonline.com to learn more about how to win. What are you waiting for? Send, win, relax this summer with JN Money.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
This summer, happiness is better when you share it. Coca-Cola invites you to share a Coke with someone special. Grab an ice-cold Coke and find a name. Maybe theirs, maybe yours, maybe a surprise. Because nothing says you matter like sharing a smile and a Coke. So who will you share a Coke with today? Find your name, find your friends, and share a Coke. Available now. Stores island-wide.
This is For the Record.
So before we get into responding to Lord Graham, and right from the get-go, you got to give it to Graham.
Yes.
Because on Friday when we were leaving, or Wednesday when we were leaving, Monday when we were leaving, we said that, we need to dissect and discuss the role of the deputy governor and, his successor, what that will look like and so on. So Lord Graham pays attention. You got to give it to him.
Yeah, he's one Caymanian who pays attention to the public radio.
So there is a birthday shout out this morning, and it says, "Morning, sir, and blessings. Trust that all's well. Please give this birthday shout out. It was yesterday to our loving son-in-law Giovanni. Blessed birthday greetings, son. May you have many, many more. We love you dearly." And this is from Dad, Mom, Mali, Mark, Sabrina, Auntie Maureen, and Uncle Matthew. So as you know that this birthday shout out is supported by Coca-Cola, and we'd like to say thank you for them.
Yeah, thank you.
I wanted to touch on some nuanced points that Graham raised. And I'm not necessarily going to get into how we define Caymanian, but what I will say is that the role of the deputy governor When we ask him or her to serve, it's in a dual capacity because on the one hand, the intention is to have that person represent the Caymanian people and do things that are in the best interest of the Caymanian people. And then on the other hand, there is the expectation that that individual will also be representative of the UK's interest. And as my mom would say some of the times, never the twain will meet.
Yes.
So, and we're asking that person to play this dual role and have this dual function and responsibility. And it's an impossible. I mean, so far we've managed, or it appears as though we have managed to have a useful and working relationship between the Deputy Governor and Gov. Because remember, even when the governor is unavailable, the deputy governor
acts as governor.
Exactly.
Governor
So
has all the powers as the governor had.
Exactly.
Has.
That's right. So he or she is wearing two separate hats. Mm-hmm. On the one hand, that capacity to do what is in England's best interest because we're a dependent territory. Mm-hmm. And on the other hand, when he or she is not playing that role, there is that duality.
Yeah.
And Steve, one other thing, and what we tend to see is that Caymanians chosen for those sensitive roles are usually Caymanians that are status holders, not generational Caymanians, even though our current deputy governor is a
Caymanian.
Yeah.
So, for our audience knowledge and partly answered Lord Graham's queries, the deputy governor's position is enshrined in the Constitution, and I brought that part of the Constitution with me this morning so I could read it because I knew that we were going to talk about it when we came back on today. Mm-hmm. So the deputy governor position role and role is enshrined in the Constitution and is found in Section 38 of the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009. And the heading says the office of deputy governor. And the Constitution says, there shall be a deputy governor who shall be such persons as Her Majesty may designate as such by instructions given through a Secretary of State, and who shall hold office during Her Majesty's pleasure. 2. A person shall not be designated as deputy governor unless, I'm going to read that again. A person shall not be designated as a deputy governor unless A, he or she is a Caymanian, and B, he or she holds or has held a senior position in the public service and is still eligible to hold public office. And it goes on to say, for the purpose of Section 2 that I just read about, senior position in the public service means head of department or head of a statutory authority or government-owned company or BOW. The deputy governor shall have such functions as subject to this Constitution and any other law may be delegated to him or her by the governor acting in his or her discretion. Under the authority of the governor, the deputy governor shall be held head of the civil service and be in the office of deputy governor if the office of deputy governor is vacant, or the deputy governor is absent from the Cayman Islands, or is for any other reason unable to perform those functions, such public officer being a Caymanian, as Her Majesty may designate by instructions given through a Secretary of State, the person is designated. And before assuming the functions of the office of governor, the deputy governor or the person designated shall make an oath directed by Section 30 to make by the governor. The deputy governor shall cease to perform the functions of the office of governor after the governor has notified him or her that he or she is about to resume those positions and the person designated shall cease to perform those functions after the governor or deputy governor has so notified him or her. And then it goes on to say the governor or the deputy governor shall not, for the purpose of this section, be regarded as absent from the Cayman Islands or as unable to perform the functions of the office, A, by reason of the fact that he or she is in passage from one part of the Cayman Islands or the other, or that any time where there is a subsisting appointment under Section 16. So that outlines the position, role and position of the governor of the Cayman Islands, the deputy governor of the Cayman Islands, and you can see the Constitution is adamant and in so many different places says a person shall not be designated as deputy governor unless he or she is Caymanian.
And then the definition of Caymanian under immigration law is?
And the Constitution says that the definition of Caymanian is what the immigration law say it is. And when you go to the immigration, when you go to the immigration law, the immigration law, a Caymanian is a person who have Caymanian status. Yeah. But listen to this now. When you go to the Immigration Transition Act 2022 revision, that's the immigration law that we're talking about. The Part 5 of the immigration law, provisions relating to Caymanians, says this: categories of Caymanians. Did you know that?
Yeah, I took a look at it this morning before I came.
A person shall, for the purpose of this act, be deemed to possess the right to be Caymanian if the person is Caymanian at the 1st of January 2004. The person is Caymanian as a right, as defined by Section 27. The person is Caymanian by the grant of the Caymanian Status and Permanent Residence Board under Section 28. And the person has obtained the right by entitlement or by cabinet. The cabinet, acting on the recommendation of the Caymanian Status and Permanent Residence Board, grants such rights to the person, and that grant is subsequently ratified by the Cayman Islands Parliament, save that the cabinet shall not make more than 4 such grants in any calendar year. Now,
go ahead. So, no, I mean, you've just really confirmed what I was saying just now. Susan, is there a call?
Yes. Oh, so we have to break now for the news, and when we come back, we will continue with our discussion about what is Caymanian and the categories of Caymanians.
And let's think, while we are on the break, let's think about what that means, and please feel free to call in.
Call in.
Yeah.
Good morning. Studio time now is 2 minutes past 8, brought to you with the kind compliments of Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Police are investigating a pair of Saturday armed robberies. Just after noon, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says officers were sent to an armed robbery at a jewelry store on Albert Panton Street in Georgetown, where 2 masked men, one armed with what appeared to be a handgun, reportedly entered the store and swiped cash and jewelry. A vehicle believed to have been used in that holdup has been recovered. Then at 7:30 p.m. Saturday night, A masked man carrying a machete reportedly stormed a pharmacy in Centennial Towers in West Bay demanding money. He managed to take off with some cash. No arrests have been announced in either incident by the police. The new government is looking to move one step closer to offering a lease to farm initiative.
I'm going to be meeting the agriculture team out in East End at the farmland. And I know that has been something that a lot of the farmers have been waiting on, to be able to get access to that land out there. Hopefully next week coming, we should be able to start to announce some of the farmers that will be out there getting access to these 1 acre lots that we've put in place out there.
One of Agriculture Minister the Honourable J. Ebanks' key focus areas is food security for the Cayman Islands.
We have a lot of individuals that are actually looking into carrying it to the next level of farming, what we talk about, the container farming and greenhouse farming. Hopefully, and then within a year, we can start to see a lot more talks about that and getting that side of things scaled up.
Recent programs include a new egg production facility in Bodden Town and a grow box pilot program for registered Caymanians. The minister is scheduled to announce the first 5 recipients under the Cayman Islands Agriculture Land Use Program at an event later this morning. And Cayman is in Barbados for Cara Festa, an annual celebration of the arts that's been going strong since 1952. As CIGTV's Travis Webster reports, a preview of Cayman's talent was showcased at the Harkwell Theatre on Saturday.
The performances consisted of folk singers, historical storytellers, and creative dance from local groups such as the Cayman Islands National Dance Company and UCCI.
One of the priorities of the ministry is the preservation and the celebration of Cuban culture and heritage. And it is through teaching, sharing, and learning, not only here we are, but abroad in other countries, that will keep our traditions alive, and they will also continue to inspire generations to come.
Minister Rankin and Chief Officer Theresa Pitcairn will travel alongside 84 members of the delegation to Barbados for Cara Festa 15. The celebratory event is scheduled to take place from the 22nd to the 31st of August. This year's theme is Caribbean Roots, Global Excellence. We wish all of Cayman's delegates a safe trip.
In regional news, the Planning Institute of Jamaica is reporting its economy grew by an estimated 1.4% during Q2 of 2025. Speaking at the PIOJ's quarterly press briefing on Tuesday, the Director General, Dr. Wayne Henry, said the outturn for the review quarter largely reflected continued growth in most industries. During the review period, the goods-producing industry grew by 3.8%, driven by growth in 3 of 4 industries, while the services industry grew by 0.5 percentage point. Henry said agriculture, forestry, and fishing and the accommodation and food service industries were hit the hardest by weather disruptions in 2024, but were key drivers of this year's positive performance. He noted that growth in the economies of Jamaica's major trading partners, which supported external demand, was among the factors that influenced performance during Q2. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News. Iran's foreign minister has said inspectors from the UN nuclear watchdog must be allowed in, as Tehran cannot completely stop cooperating with it. There have been no inspections since Israel and the US bombed Iran's atomic facilities. Officials in northwest Nigeria now say 30 people were killed in Tuesday's attack on a mosque in Katsina State. 13 deaths had been reported earlier. Denmark is to abolish sales tax on books to stem a reading crisis. A recent report found a quarter of Danish 15-year-olds cannot understand simple text. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Bodden Town, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Bodden Town. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Craving something bold, juicy, and packed with flavor? Introducing KFC's new crispy barbecue sandwich served on a soft, buttery brioche bun. That's 100% KFC premium chicken breast, perfectly crispy, deliciously smoky with crispy onions, cheddar cheese, and barbecue sauce. Just the right amount of messy in the best way possible. Stacked with layers of bold KFC flavor, this sandwich is your new obsession. But hurry, it's only at KFC for a limited time. So what are you waiting for? Get yours today at any of the 3 KFC locations on island. KFC, finger licking good, just got bolder.
Attention families, the countdown to school begins now, and the Pursuit of Excellence Foundation presents the annual Ready, Set, Learn Back to School event. Join us on Saturday, August 23rd in Grand Cayman at the Lion Center at 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and Sunday, August 24th in Cayman at the Ashton Rutty Center, also at 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, as we give back to students across the Cayman Islands with free school supplies, resources, light refreshments, games, surprises, and a whole lot of encouragement for the year ahead. It's more than a giveaway, it's a celebration of our future. Big thanks to our sponsors and volunteers for making this possible. Ready, set, learn, because every child deserves a strong start.
Your mornings just got a whole lot buzzier. Join me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. on The Buzz, Radio Cayman's morning talk show with insight, impact, and inspiration, covering business, policy, finance, health, culture, and the biggest local and global issues impacting our Cayman community. With fresh perspectives from younger generations to stories of inspiration from local entrepreneurs. Tune in and turn up Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30 with me, Kathy Miller, on The Buzz. The Buzz.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Pleasant good morning. Let's see what the seas, skies, and wind have in store for us today weather-wise. Current temperature is 85 degrees. Relative humidity is 82%. The barometric pressure, 29.89 inches and steady. The wind is west-southwest at 3 knots. Overnight low was 81. Synopsis indicate light winds becoming occasional variable will continue through the next few days as the pressure gradient remains weak in association with Hurricane Erin. Some isolated showers are possible as daytime heating coupled with light winds increase the chance of showers across the Cayman area. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida continues to issue advisories on Hurricane Erin, which at last check was located 560 miles west-southwest of Bermuda. This system poses no direct threat to the Cayman Islands. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of afternoon showers and possible thunder, and temperatures will be in the low 90s with a heat index near 106 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be southwest at 5 knots or less, becoming light and variable at times, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet for today and tonight as well. Forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the low to mid 80s tonight. Your winds will be southeast at 5 knots or less, becoming light and variable at times. Low tide will be this afternoon at 1:54. High tide again tonight at 8:27. The sun will set this evening at 6:48 and will rise tomorrow morning at 9 minutes after 6. And the outlook is calling for a gradual increase in the chance of showers due to a light southerly wind flow as Hurricane Erin continues to move northward. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Aunt Angie, how does it feel to have broken the bull riding world record?
Sore, Sean. That bull was angry.
Angie, I think that bull is headed towards your red convertible.
I broke the world record and he broke my car. Oh well, at least I've got CG Comprehensive Motor to cover this.
Get covered for collision, damage, and more. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit-K, where people come first.
When I first started going to Healthcare Pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy, with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor Square, where they care about my health.
Are you feeling overwhelmed, sad, stressed out, or suicidal and need support? Call 1-800-534-6463. K-Mind, Mental Health Helpline. It's okay to ask for help. K-Mind Mental Health Helpline, available from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday. It's free and confidential support and guidance on your emotional and psychological health.
Good morning. Let's take a quick look at what's happening on the roads. Coming from the Eastern Shamrock Road, flowing at a moderate pace further up. Steadier traffic further down on the Linford Pearson Highway, as well as coming off of Agnes Way. Moderate flow of traffic off Bobby Thompson Way. Slow moving traffic on Crew Road heading to Georgetown, and heading east on Crew Road, traffic is moving at a moderate pace. No issues on Owen Roberts Drive as traffic is light to moderate, as well as Edward Street and Shedden Road, moderate flow of traffic, as well as coming from the West Bay 4-way stop. Coming off of the Estella Tibbetts Highway, a little steadier traffic, and continuing on to North Sound Road, moderate flow of traffic in the Industrial Park area. And coming off of Bobby Thompson Way as mentioned, and continuing on to Huldah Avenue, moderate flow of traffic. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing at a good pace in both directions, and on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate as well. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
There's something new at Subway. Indulge your taste buds with our new barbecue pork rib sandwich tender. Smoky pork ribs smothered in sweet and tangy barbecue sauce, built just the way you like it. It's bold, rich, and seriously satisfying. But hurry, it's here for a limited time only. Order now on the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick in-store pickup, or get it delivered with Bento or Let's Eat. The all-new barbecue pork rib sandwich, only at Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
Yummy.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The wait is over. The crown awaits. The Lions and Leos Club of Grand Cayman proudly present the 42nd Miss Teen Cayman Islands pageant, returning August 8th, 2026. Are you bold, talented, and ready to shine? If you're between the ages of 15 and 18, this is your moment to step forward, showcase your brilliance, and embrace the journey of a lifetime. Visit the Miss Teen Cayman Instagram and Facebook pages for registration details. The crown is calling. Will you answer? Brought to you by the Lions and Leos Club of Grand Cayman.
Start. Stop. That's how long it takes to react to a child crossing the street. How long would it take you to apply the brakes? How long would it take the parents to forgive you? How long would it take you to forgive yourself? Slow down. Save a life. Not only theirs, but your own. Texting, speeding, and ignoring safety rules can cost lives. Visit gov.ky/road safety to learn more and help keep our roads safe.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
So thank you very much again. And I'd like to just jump into this because I know that we received quite a few messages. At the very beginning, though, I'd like to give a shout out to OJ. Now, the person didn't say who OJ meant, but they said kindly send belated birthday wishes to OJ, who celebrated his birthday yesterday. God's blessing forever and be with him for always. So we had a comment from someone in response to the questions and the issues surrounding what Lord Graham raised. And the person said, yes, a new Caymanian, and again, underscore, a new Caymanian as opposed to a generational Caymanian will become deputy governor because we refuse to add or separate the definitions of what constitutes a native Caymanian. This is not prejudicial to define, for other communities do so in other communities as well, because this is done in other communities as well. I wanted to say a couple of things before I pass the mic over to Doc. It's really crucial to understand and think about what it truly means having a generational Caymanian in this role. And in saying that, I'm not suggesting that this person doesn't have to be qualified and capable and so on, and meet the current criteria that's set out in the Constitution. But also have a think about someone who has Caymanian status. I know when I visited and went to university in the UK and in Canada, my heart was always in the Cayman Islands. That's where, people talk about your navel spring being buried. And in saying what I'm about to say, I don't intend to communicate anything pejorative. But folks who come here with Caymanian and get Caymanian status, they're not all the same.
Exactly.
And not all of them what is in the real and best interest of the Caymanian people. So, and I know, for example, that when we listen to this show and when persons like myself and Dr. Steve are on, there's a very attentive audience because you're trying to capture the things that, the information that we're sharing from a legal perspective. But this morning, I'd like to encourage you to speak as well. Don't think that because you don't have a legal background or you're not, for some reason, unable to convey your thoughts or articulate them, in a way that is sophisticated, just plain English and express how you feel about what is going on. Because as Dr. McField was saying earlier this morning, we have a new team of people who say and are making promises. My mom would say promises are made to a fool. And this is not to suggest that what is being said, articulated by the current leadership, shouldn't be taken in the spirit in which it's sent. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that our audience, Caymanian people, those people who love this country genuinely, you have to think through what the future looks like and the kind of future you want to see. Being quiet is not going to get you where you need to go. And to be honest, I was saying to Steve just now, I'm even unconcerned about the past to the extent that, the horse already out the stable. So what we have to do now is look at where we are now and figure out the kind of community that we want, including people who we want to see in leadership. Not simply people who are pushovers and don't have an independent mind and can't think for themselves. You want someone who who you trust can actually deliver and who has the temerity to look at what is in the best interest of the Caymanian people and what is essential to ensure that we retain a good relationship with the United Kingdom because we're still a dependent territory.
Yes, and thank you, and excuse me, and because also, Dr. T, we need to protect our people, and we need to have the capacity to continue growing. And we need to have to overcome the pressures of the different things that be a subject to on a daily basis, not only the political system, but the economic system and the social system in our country.
Yeah.
We need to someone who is going to lead us and show us the way to overcome those things also.
And we don't have to always agree. We don't have to always agree. And don't be afraid to hold the folks that you have elected accountable. And I'm not just referring to these people that are currently in charge, but I'm talking about the backbench too.
Yes.
They are getting a salary.
Yes.
Ask them what have they done lately.
Yes.
I mean,
to earn that
exactly
that high salary that they're receiving.
So this, I hope that this is something that Steve and I bring to the table each time we're here, in that we not only speak to the issues that arise or try to make or try to provide you with common sense responses on issues that we're unfamiliar with, but it's also to drive that understanding that this country is in your hands, and whether it fails or it succeeds, that will be up to you. And you have to hold the people that you elect accountable, every single one of them. You have to. One final point, and then I'll digress to you again about
final point, and we have a caller, WhatsApp caller.
Okay, sorry, go on. You want me to speak? Yeah, I was going to talk about what does Caymanian mean.
Yes.
Because we have to make that before we leave today. Every single person listening today will know what is a Caymanian and the difference between and how those rights and privileges are attributed to what is being Caymanian.
Yes.
Go ahead, Susan.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Well, concerning what I spoke about, the prison inspector from the UK that came to Cayman, I think it was in 2007, and he said it was a disgrace for the kind of prison facility that we have in the Cayman Islands, with a country with the kind of finances that we have, to be housing prisoners in those kind of conditions. That was in 2007, almost 20 years ago now. And the seriousness of this, if an electrical fire was to break out in Northwood Prison, God forbid, in Jesus' precious name, and that fire was to spread rapidly and quickly, that the guards do not have enough time to open each cell with a key as they have to do now. If something like that, a lot of prisoners could lose their lives, and even some staff members. Right now in 2025, they're supposed to have a prison with an emergency button that in case of a fire, they're able to press that button and every cell is able to be open on that block for emergency reasons, that every prisoner is able to escape the fire and not having to depend on a guard to open each cell with a key. And also, Northwood Prison was built in 1981. The cement and the steel rods are rotten and rusted to pieces. If we were to have a serious earthquake, there's a possibility the walls and the roof in Northwood Prison could collapse on those prisoners and the security guards. We talk about being a British overseas territory and having to do certain things that they demand that we do. But this prison inspector from England that came there in 2007 warned us from then
If you don't mind, because I'm seeing Susan raising her hands.
Yes.
If you could just wrap this up in a second, because I do hear you, and I think obviously this is something that we have to really take seriously. The ombudsman also has that kind of authority to do a proper investigation. I would recommend that you put your finger to paper, or even phone, or go and have a meeting with somebody in the ombudsman's office and raise these concerns. If you don't have the skill set to necessarily put these things in writing, go and sit down and speak to her about it. Okay?
Yes. Or go and speak to some representative, a representative.
But what he's suggesting is that nobody's been paying attention. And to be frank, and I know when I visited the prison for women, that was deplorable.
Yes, deplorable, yes.
And I had to come on the show to raise noise, But thank you very much for this comment, and hate to cut you off in this way, but do reach out. Susan?
You have another call?
Yeah.
Yes. You have another call, caller? You're on the line, go caller?
Yeah, good morning, Miss Theresa. Good morning, Doctor. How are you doing?
Morning.
Good morning,
sir.
Good to hear the two of you. We got two deputy premiers right there now.
Yes.
This man got jokes. He got jokes, right?
No, Miss Theresa, you know where you're coming from. Been a little while. I haven't caught up with you. You throw me away, but anyhow, that's all right. I still love you. And
me too.
Me and your mama still go far back in Doc as well. But I am hoping that the next deputy governor, and I hope that there is a way that there will be some input from the public in that it be not someone that has papers. I hope that the deputy governor will be someone who was born here in Queens and not by Queens. Because I know that we got a lot of capable Caymanians that can hold a position like Mr. Manson has did over the years. But as Graham always says, that we are outnumbered now, and everybody's a Caymanian now. You got to question ourselves, Mr. Risa and Dr. That we are Caymanians ourselves.
That's right. And Steve and I are new on this, and whenever we get an indication from the boss in the room, I'm going to have to ask you to quickly wrap this up. And no, I haven't forgotten you. I'm not like that. You're not like that. But thank you very much for calling, okay? And I hear you loud and clear.
We'll take the break now.
I think she says there's another call.
We have another call, Ms. Susan. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll take whatever calls that are on the line.
Okay, good.
It's a sizzling summer with Jan Money. You can win a luxury weekend getaway for two when you send or receive money from now until September 30, 2025. That's right. We're turning up the heat this summer with Jan Money. Visit www.janmoneyonline.com to learn more about how to win. What are you waiting for? Send, win, relax this summer with Jan Money.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Storms bring wind, rain, and unexpected costs to buy supplies, secure your home, or make minor repairs. Incidental expenses not covered by insurance. Until now, with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks of a Category 3 or stronger hurricane, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco's homeowners insurance. Visit cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
This is For the Record.
Thank you so very much, Susan. And again, thank you for keeping us really disciplined and on the ball. I have a huge birthday shout out to make to one of my besties in the whole wide world. And that lady is none other than an icon in her own right, Mita Day. Her name is spelled Myrta, but all of us call her Mita or Meets. To my darling friend, this gives me a great pleasure. Someone sent it in, and I knew you sent me something last night, but you know the brain what it is. And I didn't know whether or not this was something you wanted exposed in public. But have an amazing, amazing birthday. What you do in this community is phenomenal. You are just a phenom. What can I say? So have a great birthday. And thank you, Coca-Cola, for being the proud supporter of the birthday shout-outs. I'm going to run right to this message and then take the call. So there was a message that came in. I think it went to OC, and it says, "Good morning, co-host. You're doing a fabulous job. On the issue of deputy governor position, just look at the previous holders: Ernest Panton, Desmond Watler, Dennis Foster, James Ryan, Donovan Ebanks, and Franz Manderson, all generational Caymanians. No reason why this trend should not continue." Now, I won't repeat complete the entire message because I don't want to be seen as promoting persons in for the particular position. And Susan, without no further ado, the call.
So we have a WhatsApp call. We're going to go to that call now.
Hello, esteemed guests and your listeners.
Hello, Mr. Samamba.
Hello. I have got 4 points, but I think I can make them in 2 minutes.
Yes.
Point number one. DG's office, there is a fundamental problem because he is appointed by the British government. Although he has to be a Caymanian, I think the tendency is more to lean on the side of the British government. I don't know how you deal with that, though, since in the OT status, it will be very difficult to change that. Secondly, there is a problem which affects the lack of ideological direction generally in the Cayman Islands. There are exceptions, but that's part of the problem. Two, those issues regarding the young man being arrested and so on, I believe there should be a commission of inquiry into the judicial and legal services. I've asked for that. I wrote to the Secretary of State about that. Number three, I'm hearing from the public and from what you Caymanians call gapseed sources, this government does not really plan to address some of the concerns which have been raised regarding immigration, for example, about putting caps on grants and those kinds of things. And then finally, those of us, if this government doesn't do more than it has suggested in these immigration matters, I think all of us, you Caymanians, as well as us people who wanted to make Caymanian our home, we are all totally screwed. But let us see what they come up with. I thank you. You have a nice day.
Thank you so very much for that.
Yes. Taking the last question first, I don't think that Mr. Samamba has the right information about the intention of the government and the immigration matters. The government intends to make a sweeping immigration changes, which to me personally and professionally is can only be in the best interest of the Caymanian people. Minister Michael Miles have said that. He has told that to us one-on-one, and he has said that publicly. And he has said that those matters are going to come within the 4 years in which he was elected to serve, and not in some distant date. So I don't think that you're right to say that, unless you know something that I don't know, unless you have some inside information other than what we have. But I think the government is bent on changing the immigration system that is going to be in the interest of the Caymanian people. And I think that you need to rethink that, or you need to share your sources with me so that I can make representation in the right places.
So I'll own again touch. In fact, just reiterate what he said, because this was something that we spoke to at the very beginning about the DG being appointed by the British government. So, and this is one of the reasons why I was sharing at the very beginning. That person is going to be in a very conflicted position. If to be straight, on the one hand, that person is being asked to be, in some circumstances, to be our governor from time to time. So the British government will have to have some level of trust in that person. And then we are expected as Caymanians to have trust in that individual as well. And we're asking that individual to serve two masters, which is an impossible position. And I will also reiterate, in saying this boldly and being straight about it, I am not suggesting that people say that I'm suggesting that we go independence, because I know that is the tagline that we need we usually follow. But I tell you what, if we don't think about what our future ought to look like, and if we continue to be in this state of limbo, my mom would say, dog eat your supper.
Yes.
So I'll just, right. We have two calls.
We have two callers?
So
we'll go to the first caller.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I agree when people call in for these positions to be a Caymanian, and if somebody gonna come in, they should be working on that Caymanian. What happened to a young man Sunday night at the police station?
Yes.
He had some dispute with his wife Friday night, and they come 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock Sunday night, arrest him, carry him to the station, taking a statement. One of the police turned around and asked him if he is Caymanian. What that signifying to you? That if it's a Jamaican or a Panamanian or whatever, it would be okay, right? But they have stuff in for Caymanians, because I see it every day that they come for people, do things here, and they just overlook it. Understand? And if they turn independence, they shouldn't be holding no post in our government or nowhere in this island. I say it without apology. My father was a Jamaican, and I say that because these people are just looking out for their own people. And we got 99% of the police force not Caymanian.
Okay. So thank you very much for that, caller. Yeah. And I'll touch on that when we come back.
Yes.
Go right to the next caller. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Cayman, and everybody in the station, and good morning to Mr. McField. Just a small question. These people that come in here, so these are 15 years from 15 years come back decide attacking 15, 10, 5, 2, 3, 1, 6 months, everything. These people that come in here, so some of them cannot behave themselves in Cayman when they come. They believe that it's home, or they believe they can do anything they want, and nothing don't says. So I want to know why migration don't change the policy or don't change the law or who you have to go to for that they can do something about these people that come in here. So because some of them, you come from work, you're tired, you go and lay down, and when Friday comes, Saturday comes, they have a knives, and you see one truck with pass or one vehicle with pass and knives in your head, and you can't sleep. And you can't get a 5 minutes rest or whatever. That's number one. Number two, I think immigration do a better job, but the work permit holders them for 1 year, and then it should have then stay 1 year off. They go home for 5 years and come back for 1 year. They work 1 way, go home for 5 years again. And what happened now that we give immigration a better job, and then we have more time to them stay home in a them country and to come back here so Cayman can do what they want. So that's my opinion, because a lot of them come do what they want. Some people not working. If you go by the gas station or some places, you see them begging you a $5 or $10 or whatever, and some of them not working. So immigration should come on the road and actually work permit or ask them if you're working or whatever, and if not working, they send them home. And any work permit, they should put out a law that any work permit when come from 2026 or
right.
from November.
So I hate to be this person that's always interrupting people when they're getting their juices, their mental juices flowing. But we have to go to a break, and when we come back, we will try to respond to those questions. Thank you.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
So there are two people on hold, so we'll just go straight to the phone lines.
Yes. So, caller, you're up next.
Good morning to OC substitutes this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. OC substitute, that's a new definition. Yeah, yes.
I just want to say a few words that concern me very, very much. And I'm just using this now as a timeline, okay? The new government has been in 100 days so far. And before the new government came into effect, the light on the Frank Sound starboard, the red light, outside red light, has been out. This is a very dangerous situation for people. Even on Friday night, a person was coming in straight from fishing and didn't know where to go. He had to call me to get direction to come in because of the light was out. The government bought a beautiful boat for Port Authority. I mean, that's a lovely boat. I wouldn't mind owning it. But they just not using it or they're not using the staff. No, the thing in it is they should send out, they should have somebody on call or something that in the night from 4 till 11 they go around and check the lights on the channel, mark them, know which one need to be replaced and replace it. Can you imagine over 100 days? Because I know, because the first night I went out, it was a call from my phone to the message machine. After that, another evening, another friend of mine used his radio and called the port security and reported it. And I called OC before he went on vacation and reported, asked him if there was anything he could do to get them to look on the lights. And now I even understand that some of the lights on the South Sound channel is out. It seems to me like the Port Authority just slacking and need to be pulled up. The management there need to be pulled up by the foot, or we need to replace the management. Something wrong. Something is wrong. And, why spend the money to buy such a beautiful boat that can go round and round this island in a rough weather, good weather, and service these lights so that the protection of the people. What happened if somebody crashed their boat and someone get hurt and they sue the government? What would be then? Huh?
So thank you very much,
Thank
sir,
you
for that.
So, caller, does the Coast Guard have anything to do with the lights on the channel also?
I'm not 100% sure about the Coast Guard, but I know for years the Port Authority was the ones who have been in charge of them.
Okay.
For years.
All right, thanks. So I know that there's another call,
Yes.
and I don't want to rush you, but Susan is giving me the finger, so...
Like I told you, I just had a few words to say.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. OC substitute.
Yes, yes. So we have a WhatsApp call now. Caller, you're on the line.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Good morning, panel. I'll be frank, 2 minutes. First of all, when I call you respect people on Monday, I was seeing that cases go by favor, right? And the present government is dumbed down, descending the cumbersome, burdensome, and awkward, specifically entities, right? And that by clarification. When it comes to indoctrinating and systematically who's Caymanian, obviously I don't have a PhD, doctorate of philosophy, but in this time era now, we need to codify a recognition of native Caymanians as first-class citizens, trace the birth certificates, parents, grandparents, in last resort, Cayman connection, in the voters ID, point blank. Right? North of us, right? US continent hemisphere, the US, they have distinctions. African American, Italian American, Polish American, and European, Oriental. And hit a heartbeat now. They discriminate Latinos or Hispanics. Two different things. I around wrap up now.
Oh.
This morning in introduction, the first call in, right? And we talk about metrics of interest, right? Money's currencies, master plan of the aviation, right? Whatever the projection is, or in the next 20 years, 2 decades, upgrades and expansion, despite the real estate market, right? And whoever the financial government now, president now, in cabinet, in the last 2 administrations, that been going on of reforming mortgages in changing practices to restructure not necessarily hedge funds, but you know what I mean? Mortgages. And I hear Mrs. Steve, Dr. Steve early on, but hit point blank goal is a neutrality now. It's an instrumental monetary system. It's wrap up now and accepted. But the physical world of dollarization, money's dollarization, is a decadence gradually, despite the tiers 1, 2, or 3. In Cayman, we fortunate lucky that the IMF, International Monetary Fund, now in our back door, right? Like you always say, it's a conditional financial support of liquidity crisis. And we, as the Cayman hub, financial hub, is a center. So alternate revenue is the making. Alternate revenue is the making. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you very much. Someone did send in a message in response to the reserves. I didn't share that number because I wasn't sure if I mean, it was a number that was reflected from 2020, and I wasn't sure how accurate it was today. So that is something that I've put on my note to actually do some research on. To go back, there was a comment too that came in from someone, and they said that I fully agree with Mr. Billy, that was Billy who called in earlier, on the constitutional limitations of deputy governor when acting as governor. Bear in mind the section that speaks to the governor acting in the best interest of the Caymanian people, as long as it is not in conflict with his or her responsibility to the crowd. And again, reiterating what we said right throughout the show and so on, I also, while it comes to mind, someone that has British overseas territory citizenship, also remember that that person too that is Caymanian or that is a British citizen is also eligible to be the deputy governor.
Yes.
So, I know we wanted to spend some time, talking about fleshing out what the deputy governor criteria looks like under the current legislation. I also wanted to touch on the second point that Billy made about the young man, because I personally agree with him. I mean, I won't so much refer to Gap Seed, but there are so many people that have raised concerns about this on other radio platforms, and people who appear to be in the know about what really transpired between the young guy and should I say complete transparency. I've known Christopher Jackson from the time he was a baby. His mother was a teacher to my 3 children. I know who he was raised by, and I know his parents. His grandmother is my mother's best friend, was my mother's best friend, because my mom's no longer here. So I know this boy's lineage, I know his demeanor, and I know the family that raised him. So when I saw this stuff, I'm saying this is not the Christopher that I know. So there ought to be a proper independent review of this. And in fact, the Caymanian people should insist on it and don't just let this slide, because having the person who received the person that we now call the Larry, do we want persons like that here as being citizens, getting Caymanian status, and then also maybe with the possibility of being a deputy governor because he is a Cayman, getting granted by Cayman? No. Let's take a look at this. I don't have all the facts. Definitely don't have the facts. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think there ought to be a proper investigation with the police, with the DPP, to find out exactly what transpired.
Yes, and that leads me into the other caller who made some remarks about the noise and stuff in his neighborhood and so forth. And I would like to say to that caller that we ought to and we have to pay more attention to Section 16 of the immigration of the Constitution, which gives us on the Bill of Rights, which gives us the control over immigration and what people can do when they come here. Because if we don't, we are just foolishly deroofing our national home that give us shelter. And the problem that we have is that we have a lot of people here who come here, and many are not really peaceful, and they are not good neighbors. And they are bent into turning good neighborhoods into ghettos, resembling third world, discarded streets, old discarded vehicles, and shantytown areas. This immigration scheme that we have been focused on and that we have been running for the last 30 years needs a deliberate overhaul, in which the minister has said that he is doing. And unless it is done, we are going to we are losing our cultural identity by those who do not have our identity at heart and do not share our Caymanian values. It benefits those who do not see us as a Caymanian culture as a priority. And I would like to say to that person, you cannot put lipstick on a pig and expect the pig to be a lady.
Steve, you the best, honestly. Right.
So, we're about to take a break to break the Yes.
Okay.
We have a WhatsApp message. We have a WhatsApp message, so we'll take that WhatsApp message, then we'll go to the break.
Caller.
Call. Hello? Caller, you're on. So, we cannot continue to allow people who come here to destroy our culture and to destroy our priority and our ways of living, and to weaken our Caymanian resolve, and to recolonize us as a country, because that's what they're doing. They're recolonizing us, and as I have said and as I have lamented for so long, we have to select who we want to come to live among us. We have the right to do that, and we should do that, and we should do that without compromise and without and without
fear or favor.
Yeah. To anyone.
Yeah. I wanted to say too at this particular juncture before we move into the 9 o'clock news that remember this is a platform for open dialogue, right? So I know that Steve and I can be animated with our approach because and I want to say that's because this is something that this has been with us for years, for decades, and this is something that we've been speaking to about for a long time, and which is why when I started the program this morning, I had to say that there has been a shift in our behavior, a shift in our mentality, and I'd like to see the community continue to ask tough questions. Don't just ask the tough questions when you're with your friends. I mean, I am not obviously suggesting or inciting any kind of unnecessary
Exactly.
argument, but have heartened and heated discussions where they are relevant. Don't be afraid to say, this is my view, these are my reasons why, and I feel strongly about it. Everybody don't have to agree, because ultimately these 4 years, this particular government if they rise to the challenge, they will have a tough time in trying to develop policies and strategies that are truly in the best interest of the Caymanians on the one hand, the Caymanian people on the other, and by Caymanian people, I'm including people who are citizens, people live here and so on, and to find a reasonable and balanced ground so that, people can walk away with stuff. Everybody's not going to get everything that they want. And a politician that gives you that promise, I'm telling you today, they're lying, because they serve two masters. They serve themselves because they want to get elected and serve their pocket. And they also serve what they ostensibly say as what's in the best interest of the people. Because if we look at the last 2 decades and believed what our politicians say that they were going to deliver and so on, we wouldn't be having this conversation this morning if these folks actually stepped up and delivered. Now, this is not to suggest that everybody, when people, as I've said before, when I've made reference to the former premier, I'm sure that when persons like myself and Sammy Jackson really rooted for someone like the Honorable Alden McLaughlin to be premier and to have leadership, we were not thinking that, he's going to get up every morning and thinking, oh my goodness, this is what I'm going to do to destroy the country. Mm-hmm. This is not what folks say when they assume the role of leadership. But experience teaches that we have to be vigilant and to stay on top of our leaders. We'll now go to the news headline at this moment.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Cayman Arts Festival opens its autumn season with music at the library, featuring local artists, pianist Glenanega and cellist Dequan Smith McConvey. The program will feature Chopin and Beethoven, and you can get your tickets now at eventbrite.com. The event is September 18th at 6 p.m. at the Georgetown Public Library. In international news, the Israeli military says it is calling up about 60,000 reservists ahead of a planned ground offensive to capture and occupy all of Gaza City. A military official said the reservists would report for duty in September and that most of the troops mobilized for the offensive would be active duty personnel. They added the troops were already operating in 2 areas as part of preparations for the plan, which the defense minister approved on Tuesday and said would be put to the security cabinet later this week. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians in Gaza City are expected to be ordered to evacuate and head to shelters in southern Gaza. And the Kremlin has played down talk of an imminent summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky, as Donald Trump renewed his call for the 2 leaders to meet to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. The push for a bilateral meeting comes after the U.S. president met Putin in Alaska last week and welcomed 7 European leaders and Zelensky to the White House on Monday. Trump admitted the conflict was, quote, a tough one to solve and conceded it was possible the Russian president was not interested in ending hostilities. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Hi, and welcome back to the For the Record community. And we have a voice message, I think, Susan, that you'd like to share with the audience.
Yeah, morning, Mr. O.C. and your 2 guest panelists, the honorary doctors, McField and Theresa Pitcairn. Just a question. You were mentioning earlier that somebody mentioned to you that they were recently involved in a road rage situation where some guys driving, I don't know if it was a Honda Fit or what, a group of people in a car in the early morning speeding, and this individual was driving the speed limit. These guys, and I can kind of guess where they're from or what they do, but I don't want to generalize. But they were harassing the person with road rage and even threw some liquid at the individual's car. I heard you say this morning. I was very, not surprised, but very saddened to hear that. And so the question of road rage and reckless driving, careless driving, excessive speed, drunken driving, I think we definitely need to move beyond trying to request or empower the police to do that. The police cannot be everywhere. Traffic, it can be the best traffic department in the world. Unless you have high technology, drones, cameras, a police force that's everywhere, or you call in the National Guard, like what is being done in other territories recently to the north of us, which again is crazy. But unless you do that, you're not really going to have it. So police can't be everywhere. So what I want to ask your 2 panelists, since they are both legal luminaries, is years ago we had a situation or a system where we talked about citizens' arrests, where the citizens, for example, could be empowered through a package of laws and regulations and rules, so that when they see reckless driving, road rage, and stuff like that, they could actually report it, whether it is to take a picture, do a video, upload it to a site, whether it's like a traffic management commission, an enforcement unit, that they could upload these complaints and either call them in or upload them, the evidence, so there'd be proper evidence based on evidentiary rules. And those complaints could be processed by that commission, and the individuals could be warned or whatever the case is, prosecuted. And I would suggest that maybe in the first offense, the based on evidence, the person is called in and fined, and a notation made on their license. And the second offense, whether it's Caymanian or non-Caymanian, they're prosecuted. One would be for Caymanians; they would lose their license for 5 years, based on certain levels of offense. And for non-Caymanians, they would lose their license, their work permit would be revoked, and they had to go back home. We need to step up the enforcement and the fines and the prosecutions to make people know we're serious about this before it's too late. So I leave those thoughts with you, and I ask the two legal panelists this morning, honorary doctors, Steve and Theresa, they could comment on that from the legal perspective in terms of the body of evidence, the procedure, and whether something like that would stand up. I know you have all the human rights issues nowadays under the Bill of Rights, but still I'm sure we can package something that is compliant with that. So I leave that to you all this morning to discuss, hopefully. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yes. Well, Mr. Mario, under common law, a citizen still has the right to make an arrest if under certain conditions. For example, if he sees that an offense being committed, a citizen has the right to make a citizen's arrest. That's number one. And number two is that there is enough evidence so far, as far as I have learned, I have been supplied with, in which the police can still make an investigation into this matter and make an arrest, because there were eyewitnesses to this offense, and the police ought to not allow this kind of behavior to go unchallenged. The police still has the right to go to those people and get the evidence from them and to bring a charge. And then additionally, there is provisions in the Criminal Procedure Code for a citizen to bring a private prosecution against someone. The Criminal Procedure Code enacts that you can bring a private prosecution against anyone who has committed a criminal offense against you or against any other persons by investigating the matter and laying a charge and filing an affidavit with a justice of the peace, and having the justice of the peace endorse the charges and then lay them into court. And the Criminal Procedure Code says only the Attorney General can terminate that private prosecution or take it over themselves. In fact, I have done this with an individual several years ago who was drunk and who went up to what they call English Point and destroyed government properties, one of the homes in which judges lived. And then when the police attended the scene, they took off and they were intoxicated, and then they hit a light pole, and then when the police came, they started to try to escape from the scene of the accident. Now, at the time that happened, the police came to see me, and the police gave me the evidence and said that because of the position of the individual, the then commissioner of police refused to take action, and I took action. I got the information. I filed the complaint with Mr. Craddock Ebanks, and Mr. Craddock Ebanks signed the charges against the person, and the person was brought into court. And that still is in the law. And there's no reason why those people should get away with throwing liquid or whatever substance it was into somebody else's car in road rage, because they should be brought to book. And the police has enough evidence from it. In fact, it was in the media, and it was all over the air. And the police ought to have once they heard it, they have investigated it, and they should still investigate it, because it's not 6 months since the matter happened, and the police should investigate it, and with the intention to bring in a criminal action against the person.
Okay, I'm going to touch on that, but we have two callers.
You have two callers, so we're going to go to the first call now. Caller, good morning. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Ms. Theresa and Dr. Steve, I wish I could be as vocal and outspoken as you guys without having to worry about facing any repercussions or backlash due to certain circumstances. But I just wanted to quickly say, in regards to what the voice message said, I have advocated with RCIPS to try to get an app so the public can be able to file complaints with them through the app. WhatsApp is what I'm referring to. As we know, many people have data that use WhatsApp, but they don't always have credit for to make a call. And so I'm hoping that RCIPS is working on something like that, so people can file complaints through that means. And I also hope that we have an 800 number come online with our RCIPS pretty soon. Also, I've also been advocating for all of government and most businesses on island now to try to get an 800 number so the public can use it in the event that people don't have credit. And another thing I advocated for is for a lawful requirement that all company vehicles and government vehicles have. And I know the conversation wasn't really about government vehicles, but to have stickers on these vehicles that says "How's my driving?" and have a number that the public can call. And hopefully, as the 800 numbers start to be phased in, those can be on there, so the public will have places to numbers to call once they see erratic and unsafe driving. The other thing I wanted to touch about the deputy governor. I know Miss Theresa, you didn't want to call names.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you to quickly wrap up as well, because I know we have another call, but no.
Yeah.
Go on. I can't hear you.
I can't hear
you. Yeah, go on.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to publicly state that I hope that we can have, for the first time, a female deputy governor. I do believe, and I'm just saying two names, I do believe Miss Gloria McField Nixon and Miss Suzanne Lucloy Bothwell would be wonderful, wonderful candidates. I know both are very experienced and have the qualifications. And of course, Miss McField Nixon has held the position, acting in many, many times. And so, and I also thought about Mr. Eric Bush, and I know Mr. Clifford is not interested, but his name was thrown into the hat in my view. And so the last thing I wanted to say quickly is that, Cayman is no longer Cayman, where we had visitors coming. I'm talking about the Mr. Larry situation, where we had visitors coming who were happy to come to the Cayman Islands and integrate with us and got along with us great. I believe that people coming here today, for not all people, but a lot of people that are coming and migrating to our islands are coming here with the intention of separating themselves from the Caymanian people, which makes up these islands of what it is, only to come here and enjoy the benefits. And closing, I'll say this: when I was campaigning earlier this year over in Georgetown East, I met quite a number of people who had Caymanian status. And I can tell you my heart warmed up to many of those people, because not one door did I stop to did I feel that they weren't interested. And it was genuine too. I didn't feel that they weren't interested in integrating and being a part of Cayman.
Right,
because
Susan's giving me a hard time.
Yes. Yeah.
And
all right, I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I hate doing this, but yeah, it goes against who I am. But thanks so very much. Yeah.
So we're going to take a next caller?
No, Susan said must go to the break.
So we're going to go to the break now. And one caller, just hold on. When we come back, we're going to take your call.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
It's a sizzling summer with Jan Money. You can win a luxury weekend getaway for two when you send or receive money from now until September 30, 2025. That's right. We're turning up the heat this summer with Jan Money. Visit www.janmoneyonline.com to learn more about how to win. What are you waiting for? Send, win, relax this summer with Jan Money.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Thank you so very much. And I want to thank that young lady for calling in when we went to the break.
Yes.
And I want to say a couple of things, right? My being able to articulate as I do with the level of confidence that I do was not something that came to me overnight. The difference, I believe, between persons like myself and many others in our community is that we're afraid of standing on our principles. We are afraid of offending others because we want to be liked, we want to be loved. For me and the kind of mom that I had, it was all about principles and standing up for what is right. When you know that you put your family in jeopardy, when you know that you put your career in jeopardy, when you know that you're going to walk through this island with a mark of Cain on your forehead because you're willing to do what is right, that doesn't come easy. This is something, and to the extent that you know what you heard me say in the last show about God and so on, I live, breathe my Almighty, because there go I without him. So I know what it's like to be in the depth of despair because of what I experienced in these Cayman Islands when the community watched me take a bollocking and said absolutely nothing. More importantly, our leaders knew exactly what was going on and did absolutely nothing. So today, I see that as a gift because it allowed me to find what I now walk with, which is a special kind of grace where I can embrace anyone, any time of the day, because I know what it's like to be down and out. I know what it's like to stand on principles, and I know what it's like not to have anyone else in your corner, but those who love you like my husband and my 3 children. Steve?
Likewise. To me, it's what I do is not work. Even my profession is not work to me. It is something that I love to do. I always want to do it all my life. And the thing that motivates me is, and it's my motto, and it's everywhere in my office, I can do anything through God who strengthens me.
Mm-hmm.
I have walked in this country without soles in my shoes. I have walked in this country not knowing where I'm going to eat the next day. I have walked in this country standing up for what I believe in, preaching the gospel of right and justice for all. I have paid the price and I have taken the blows, and there's no other place that it can push me down anymore. And I am not going to allow anyone to push me down anymore. And as Ray Charles's mother says to him in the movie, I am not going to allow anyone to make me a cripple.
Mm-hmm. All good. Do we have a call? I thought I saw.
So do we have a call from Susan?
Yeah. Okay.
We have 2
please.
callers online.
Yeah.
We're going to take a WhatsApp message first.
Mm-hmm.
The WhatsApp caller first. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling as well.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Thank you for calling, caller. We're going to go to we lost that caller, Miss Susan?
Yeah, and someone else is calling in again.
Okay. We're going to go to the caller who's on the line. Can you go ahead, caller, please?
Good morning. Good morning to you both. This is Lorna Bush, and
good morning.
Yeah, sometimes we do have to call our name, and I can identify with everything that both of you were just saying. Ms. T, just like you, I stand up for what I believe is right, and we speak out. But I have to tell you, and you know, both of you know, that the victimization is still alive.
It's real.
Okay, it's real. Yes.
It's real. I mean, right now, at this current time, I am going through something simply because I tried to point out to the people in charge what was going on at the Department of Agriculture. There is widespread terrible things happening, and I went to pains right up to the minister and spoke out. And what has happened in exchange? My family has been totally ostracized, totally left out of anything that's going on right now with agriculture and their grants. And even for the sale of our livestock, we haven't received one call since to even bring one animal up to that arbitorium. Before, it was on a regular basis. And yes, I am speaking out. I am calling them out, because even to the new director, to the director who is in charge of the abattoir, and to Minister J.E. Banks, who, in all fairness, he did call me one morning about 6 o'clock in the response to some of what I was saying. But victimization in these islands, rampant. Caymanians speak out about what's happening. You can forget it. You know, I keep thinking about the great people like Dr. Frank McField, who was never allowed to make his contribution to these islands. Why? You spoke out. That's the great sin. That's the unforgivable sin in the Cayman Islands, when you open your mouth and you speak out about wrongdoing. So even though they say that wickedness or bad things can only prevail when good people keep their mouth shut, I'm not sure that I can subscribe to that anymore, because it's bad enough when it hurts me, but when it's coming down to where it's affecting my children, then I believe, you know, maybe it's time to sit back and just make the corruption go on, make it happen, because being a martyr, I can't say that it's paid off. I really can't. I'll leave you with that. But I
that's unfortunate.
Agree with both of you with everything that you've said.
Well, that's unfortunate, ma'am. And I would...
Is there another call?
Advise you to stand...
Yeah,
I would advise you to stand for him and pray every day.
But and you
So
and
about it.
and what I was going to say is that there are many people in this island that's going through what you're
Yes.
going through. You can't do this thing alone.
By yourself.
You have to be able to find people who are in. You see, people don't do things gratuitously, because people tend to do things if it's in their best interest to do it. So don't expect perfection from people, even though we say we God-fearing, because I'm not even sure what that means.
Exactly.
But find folks who are similar-minded, who have similar interests, and people will listen. Going to the next call.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Can we take the next call? It's a WhatsApp call.
Good morning. Can you both hear me?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
It's MP Brian here calling from the UK. Great show this morning as usual. It's so amazing to know that Dr. McField will have another thing under his belt as a radio host. But I was just as I've been
Minister
listening.
Brian.
I didn't even realize. I know I've read it many times, but the fact that we have legislation that suggests that there's categories of Caymanians, which was something I've always been afraid of talking about because you don't want to create any divide in the country. But it's now even more reason now to actually start to specify the difference between one Caymanian and the other if the law is already recognized. I didn't pick up on it earlier. But with that in mind, with the deputy governor's position that's coming up, obviously it's not within the realms of the elected arm, which is the people's voice, to say who the deputy governor is going to be. But I am certain that the public does not want it to be a status holder Caymanian to be in that position. And I think I missed the part where you were reading the details as to the specific category of Caymanian who will take that post. Because God forbid, I think it would be to have an uproar in the Cayman Islands if it is a status holder Caymanian that gets that position, as historically it's always been a generational Caymanian. So am I understanding correctly that it can be a status holder Caymanian that takes that post, Dr. McField?
Yes, because all you have to do is have Caymanian status. But let me read it over to you again. Categories of Caymanians in Part 5 of the Immigration Transition Act 2022. A person shall, for the purpose of this act, be deemed to possess the right to be Caymanian if the person is Caymanian at the 1st of January 2004. The person is Caymanian as of right as defined in Section 27. The person is Caymanian by grant of the Caymanian status and permanent residence boards, and the person has obtained the right to be Caymanian by entitlement, or the person is has Caymanian status by cabinet. Those are the different categories of Caymanians. And let me just help you with what the Cayman as a right. It says in this part, Caymanian as a right. That's not mean that is not a Caymanian by grant now. As a right means a child born on or after the 1st of January 2004, whether in or outside the Cayman Islands, at the date of whose birth at least one of that person's parents was settled in the Cayman Islands and was Caymanian. Born outside the Cayman Islands after the 1st of January 2004, at the date of whose birth at least one of that person's parents was Caymanian otherwise than by descent, and acquiring the status of Caymanian under Section 21 of the Appeal Immigration Law under any other law concerning the same or similar rights. What that means is that under the old laws, when we were we became British subjects under the British Nationality Act, when we all were British subjects. And then Section 28 says acquisition of the right to be Caymanian by grant of the board. The Caymanian status and permanent resident board may, subject to Section 30, grant the right to be Caymanian to any of the persons referred to in this section. A person who has attained the age of 18 years, satisfy the board that that person is the child of or grandchild of a Caymanian, born in the islands, or is not otherwise entitled to the Caymanians, and so forth and so forth. And then it goes on to say, on the other second, Section 33, revocation of the right to be Caymanian. And listen to this very carefully now.
Minister Bryan.
Mr. Bryan, MP Bryan.
Yeah, that's
the right to be Caymanian granted by the board may be revoked where the holder has supplied a false, misleading information in a material particular to the board, or where the holder has ordinarily resided outside the Cayman Islands for a period of 5 years and can no longer be said to blah, blah, blah. So I don't need to go through all that section, but it doesn't speak, the immigration law doesn't speak to revocation of the right of Caymanians who got it by right. It speaks to revocation of the status if you got it by grant. So as my colleague Dr. Pitcairn was saying, if a Caymanian who receives the Caymanian status by grant could become a deputy governor, and for some reason
folks are usually comfortable having someone that has status assuming those positions.
Yeah, and it has to be revoked.
Yeah, so they... Okay, so...
And the status has to be revoked.
Yeah.
We're in a quandary.
That person, yeah. So the generation, in other words, the generational Caymanian, you can't revoke.
You cannot revoke the generational Caymanian status.
But there are 3 calls that it's on the line. And MP Bryan, I just sent you a WhatsApp message.
Yes.
Please have a look.
Okay.
Caller.
Thank you.
So when you come back on the island, we ought to be able to discuss these things publicly because they need to be discussed publicly and flushed out.
I am happy to come on the radio on Friday morning. I'm back Thursday night, so I'll be happy to join both of you. So if we can go into further depth conversation.
Sure,
yes.
Okay, thanks so much. The callers.
We have two more callers, so we're going to go to those callers now.
Hold on, Susan said we're going to take a break.
Oh, we're going to take a break first, and then we're going to go to the callers.
Okay.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
When a hurricane hits, unexpected costs can add up fast. Homeowners are usually out of pocket for these costs to get supplies or make minor repairs. But with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks after a Category 3 or stronger storm, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco Homeowners Insurance. Call 949-8101 or visit Cineco.ky for a quote. That's Cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
The Cayman Islands government has released the first 100 days report, available now at gov.ky/strong start. This Friday, 22nd of August, join us at Scott's Dock, Cayman Brac from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Ministers and parliamentary secretaries will share key achievements from the first 100 days in office and the work ahead to improve lives across our islands. Be informed, be part of the conversation.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
So we're back, and we're going to take a first call.
Before we do, can I say something about the comment that two of the ladies made? I remembered when you brought in the bail law. I remembered what you experienced trying to get that implemented. I say that to say, even when you try to do what is right for our community, our people will give us grief. And I'll say that and just move right into the calls that we have.
So, caller, go ahead.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
7 to 7er.
Good morning, doctors.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah. And B, I'm going to ask you to be real quick because Susan is putting her fingers. There are 4 calls on the line. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm okay.
Yeah, thanks, hon.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Steve, I want to go back to something you said earlier, which will bring me to present time, when you spoke about recolonization. I'm sure that you realize, unfortunately, that's one of our biggest downfalls. I say our, meaning Caymanians. They are quite content with having that reinstated. Unfortunately, they think that they belong with those who do it. And that's why we reap havoc every time we speak up and try to make changes or try to educate people on what is actually going on. And then the section there that you read out in the Constitution, if that does not give everybody enough cause to realize how much we need to have our Constitution revised, then I don't know what would help them. But I would like you to answer me, now that a new immigration law is going to be, or some changes will be made to the present laws in January, I was wondering if it would be a good time to have a look at the Constitution and try to get things changed there also. Because I guess if you change it in the immigration laws, but then the Constitution is not supporting it, then you can have another fight there. All right, so to please, boss lady, this morning, I will say thank you and move on.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, Madam
caller.
B.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Next caller.
Yes. Caller, go ahead.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lord Graham.
I'm not sure whether I should apologize for maybe interrupting whatever dialogue that you guys had planned for this morning, but it seems like I opened up a can of worms.
No, no, it's because you're very attentive, and I can say you should get a medal for being the number one for the record fan.
Okay, but but I should say I'm happy that I was able to get the MP's attention, and maybe it sounds like we kind of educate him in that section. He were not aware of that section. But there is the section in the immigration where it says those of grant can be revoked.
Revoked, yes.
Yeah, you need to let them know that there's no section, no provision there that can revoke my status.
As of right, no.
As of rights, cannot be revoked in no way. But the grant can be by privilege can be revoked, and yeah. So I know that it wouldn't be important for you to elaborate on whether by rights could be revoked, because it would be hard to revoke my status. Where would I go?
Yes.
That's exactly what Steve and I said during the break.
Yes, that's what we said
So,
during the break.
So, on what Miss Archer said just now about changing the Constitution, upcoming, I make some amendments. We don't have to change the Constitution. That's too difficult. The Constitution plainly say it is what immigration law says. So all we got to do is amend the immigration law. That's all we got to do. Leave the Constitution. The Constitution plainly says you are what immigration says. So let's change it. Let's amend the immigration law. That's much easier to do.
I agree.
Right. And Lord Graham, I see fingers in the corner waving about all this.
I'm going to.
Yeah, thanks, son.
Thank you. Can we have the next caller, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Is this my brother?
Yes.
I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm just to make a few points.
No, that's not him.
Go ahead,
sir.
There are many Caymanians who are U.S. citizens. We don't say that we're Americans. We say we're American citizens. So that's the first thing that offends me. Okay? Secondly, the human rights laws is one of the most mismanaged laws in the world. When you give criminals the same rights as an innocent person, you meddle in. That's meddling. And it's mismanaged by corrupted people. Therefore, leave us in a position where we have to look at these things. We're talking about who's going to be Caymanian and who's going to justify this and justify that. We have to look at these issues first. Look at the bottom line. Thirdly, we have allowed other cultures to come into this country, showcase their culture, ignore us, overwhelm us, disrespect us. That has to change. I think whenever that occurs, we have to show them the door. No questions asked. Now, before we can do that, we have to devise an education program. If you come into this country to work, here's what to expect. So you don't say, oh, I didn't know. So we have to manage our country. We have to manage what needs to be managed. And if governments don't enforce the laws, we have an issue. When we have government representatives get up in the House and say they voted against same-sex marriage, they voted their feelings or their conscience, that doesn't have no rule of laws in that. There's no rule of law in that. I mean, your feelings. The law is put down. If you can't make a vote based on logics, you're in trouble. So these are the things we got to look at. Before we can correct the small things, the bigger things that causing the problems has to be corrected.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you for
and and before we take that third call, I'll just comment on the final comment that the caller made about enforcing the law, and he used the example of the civil marriage law.
Yes.
This touches on what we've been talking about on Monday and today about what the Constitution provides, and when you have an independent, you are not an independent community.
That's right.
It means that the United Kingdom can enforce any law, no matter what we think. And folks, before matters come to cabinet and matters are brought to the Parliament, there are folks who have to agree to that.
That's right.
So if there are differences in views about what's relevant and what's not relevant, our politicians can only put forward what is relevant and what is allowed. And I'll just go to the next call.
So what's up? Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, morning again, folks. MP Brian here. I think in my last comment, I've allowed people to misunderstand my point. It wasn't clear. Not by father and not.
Sorry, you're breaking up. You're breaking up, MP Brian.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can. Mm-hmm.
Yes, do apologize. So I was saying that I must have misled the public to think that I'm not aware of the categories of Caymanians. I think it's quite evident that you have generational Caymanians by birth, those who are granted by status, those who apply by right and descent, and so forth. The concern I had was that there was even a provision for the deputy governor's hiring position, that there was different categories, because it's nonsensical to actually allow a person whose status can be revoked to be in the position.
Yeah.
That's the part that was surprising.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's the thing that governors never allow that to happen. So a person who's been given status by grant shouldn't even be allowed to apply for the post. If that's clearer. But
Yeah.
you guys get what I'm saying there.
Yeah, you're still breaking up, but I
yes.
think the message. Yeah, but
Yes.
but I think that the messaging that you
Yeah,
just
yes.
we understood what you meant. Susan, was there another call? Oh, Susan is sorry about that, MP Brian, but Susan is directing us to a break. But we heard what you said.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
So welcome back to the I think this is the final limb of the discussion and conversation that we've been having. And thank you again so very much for the listening audience to spend some time with us. There were a couple of WhatsApp messages that I was unable to read, and I'm going to do one of them right now. On the citizen arrest question that I think Mario raised earlier, what about the facility for an online submission of evidence via an app or portal? This way, there is a process to initiate the prosecution. Thanks. Okay, and there's a WhatsApp caller. Yeah, good morning to the caller. You're on the line, on the air.
Yes, good morning again.
Good morning.
Yes, it seems as though talking really isn't going to help when it comes to sharing our opinions, because one thing I noticed about people before elections, they're always willing to listen to what you have to say and agree with what you have to say, but as soon as they get in there, they do their own thing and they practically don't care what you have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that call. And so, change occurs when people stand up and do something. Talk is what talk is. And I mean, the example that I shared on that Dr. McField and I shared previously was that it's not as if we had this great desire to go out there and stand up for our principles, but when it was besmirched, and it was something that really, really impacted us. And as I said, it impacted my family. I mean, folks stopped speaking to me and stuff like that. But when it's something fundamental and when people are trying to destroy who you are, you can either sit back and chill out or do something about it. And I chose to stand up and fight, and I did it literally on my own. Because when things are sensitive and when things are controversial, there are no friends around to come up and say, well, people will say, boy, TSC, what you're going through, and so on and so forth. But in terms of asking me where is money coming from to take care of me and my family, in terms of finding out what my health looks like, what it resembles, and this is not to suggest that people don't mean well, but if this is that important to you, you have to find that courage that it takes to stand up and do something about the abuse. No one's going to say this thing is easy, but as I said to you, that whole experience in my lifetime at that time, it brought me to a place of dignity and grace where I know I have a certain confidence. I walk with a certain confidence. I walk in places where I know who I am, and I am happy being who I am. And that actually comes from experience. But you have to choose whether or not you want to go through that experience and have that courage to deal with those issues. Steve, I saw that. The gentleman just called and he was saying that, he noticed that talking doesn't get us anywhere. But it hasn't gotten anywhere for the last 2 decades with the leadership.
Yes.
So this is why I said, I'm giving the current breed of leaders an opportunity to actually try and to deliver, because I know they're up against some very, very tough decision-making processes and so on. But those who speak with forked tongues, I am going to be one of the first persons to hold those folks accountable.
Exactly.
And so should this listening audience. Talking gets you only so far. And, you have to then demonstrate that the actions that they're delivering is just inconsistent with what they promised. Steve, I don't know if there was another call. I know I have another WhatsApp message to read. Someone said that the caller is right. The entire Constitution needs review badly, especially one man, one vote and SBCs and defining native Caymanian. But this can likely happen by a people's petition as done in the past. Also, will the DG status holder be allowed to hold dual nationality? And the person says, well, our MPs cannot. So those were a couple of comments that came through just now while you were out.
What you mean dual nationality?
I don't know if the person meant that if, for example, you got Caymanian status, but you're also American, or you're also a British citizen, or you're from Zimbabwe, or not, you have to give up.
The only part in the Constitution where it says you cannot, you can have. The Constitution doesn't say that you cannot hold public office and have dual nationality. What the Constitution says that you must not know allegiance or obedience or foreign power or state.
That's correct.
That's what it says. But it doesn't forbid you from having a second nationality other than the nationality that you were born with.
Right. Now, I know that there was a comment that I wanted you to touch on, Dr. McField. Someone made a reference to victimization, and I didn't know whether or not you wanted to touch a little bit on
So
that.
we only have a few minutes left?
Yeah, 4 minutes left, yeah. Yeah. I wanted, though, to read something from Roy's most recent book.
Okay.
And perhaps, and I know that he was trying to call in several times. Pardon? Oh, Susan said we've had a busy morning.
Okay, yes.
So when the Honorable Roy Borden was writing this particular book, which is one of my favorites, to be honest, and he's always invited me to have a look at it while he's going through his thinking processes and so on. And one of the great things about Roy is that he accepts constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. So, there were times when, I didn't quite understand what he was conveying and so on, and he fleshed those thoughts out. In fact, he gave me the pleasure of preparing the summary about him on the back of this book, and I said that this work delivers a steely, unflinching, and unapologetic assessment of these islands from the mid to the late 20th century, tectonic shift in the economy, and a commitment to changes in our economy. In describing Caymanian society, he calls it a duality, and he introduces concept of paradise and plantation to highlight the contradictions exhibited in a near-white Caymanian who, on the one hand, boast about their white ancestry while being reluctant to admit any connection to their African heritage. In the process, he dismantles the fantasy of these islands being a paradise as he sets out to debunk the myth of the Cayman Islands as being a homogeneous society where all elements live in harmony. Borden bemoans what he sees as the erosion of the middle class that has resulted from the unsustainability and uncontrolled economic demands of the inhabitants of paradise, leaving the society with a very wealthy and very poor on the one hand, folks with low wages, high inflation, rising cost of living, all of which places the symptoms of the rise. All of this, which actually places Caymanians having success and making it unreachable. Added to this is the malignant immigration system that has the potential of creating a self-destructing time-death bomb in which many work permit holders have no shared language, religion, history, and traditions with the established Caymanians. Now, I said all of that because one of the callers spoke to the way in which the community is divided and how you have folks who have no desire to integrate with the Caymanian people. We have to figure out why that is. And it didn't start today. I remembered when, for example, we actively spoke, this was certain around in 2000 when I became involved with assisting the Honorable Roy Borden with his running for office. We saw from then how there was a congregation and aggregation of certain groups who had no desires to include Caymanian people. And that has just morphed and developed over the years where people come from different communities, have no desire to integrate. They're building their religious institutions completely different from what we were accustomed to. And no one's actually taking this into account to see what this means when people actually amass sufficient wealth and are eligible not only to be PR, but also to have Caymanian status. So this is something I think that we need to consider and, watch it very carefully and see whether or not this government is willing to have the courage to flesh this out and design policies that actually take care of the Caymanian interest.
Well, we reached the top of the hour where we have to go now. And Miss Dr. T, we need to have that public debate. We need to have public roundtables about this, and we need to understand what Caymanians want and what we think is in the best interest for us to succeed and to continue our culture and our history. And I would just like to leave our readers, our listeners, with this quotation. It says, "Leadership is not a title. Leadership is not a position. Leadership is action, and leadership is leadership is by example. Leadership is not a title. It is not a position. It is by action, and it's by example."
Okay.
And so I want to say goodbye for this morning.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on Friday, God willing.
And thank you so very much to the listening audience for giving us this opportunity to spend some time with you and to share some thoughts with you, to dialogue with you. And like Dr. Steve said, see you on Friday.
Yes, yeah.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is